there's another sculpture site that's going to have a wagon train, and it's going to be people, and it will speak about the pioneering aspect of Omaha, so jumping off for the westward expansion. And the people come into this area, they displace wildlife, and that's symbolized by a buffalo, who runs, and then a herd of buffalo runs from one side to the other. And they're going to go through buildings too, by the way.
Oh, really?
And stuff. Because, see, the whole thing is called the spirit of wilderness, spirit of Nebraska wilderness. And spirit, they were there first. And later, people put buildings where they used to run. So I just choose to have them run like there were no buildings there, because spirits don't respect buildings.
Yeah, that's really a neat concept.
You saw the geese coming through the building, corner of a building there. And we're going to have buffalo do the same thing. So basically, we have the wagon train, and they're done by two of the top figurative sculptors in America, Blair Buswell and Ed Thornton. And then a herd of buffalo running through town, flushing the geese, and they complete the poem to the new bank. So basically, we're using downtown Omaha as a canvas. I really want to know what a buffalo looks like under that big fur, So we actually collected an old bull in Wyoming here, not very far from my studio here, in the middle of the winter out on the prairie. And then we opened all the doors here, had it ice cold in here. Brian, my studio foreman, shot the buffalo, we put him on a trailer, hauled him in here and dissected him. So I have bones, I have all the measurements, I have studied every muscle, and I feel confident that I know what buffalo looks like.
And then this looks like an actual casting.
This is called a death mask. And I actually, of the dead buffalo, after we skinned him, dissected him and all that kind of stuff, I actually made a cast of his face, right over her fur and all. And this way I have all the measurements, Of course, the buffalo I did is bigger than life.
Yeah.
So this is, of course, a guide. You can't use this as a sculpture. But it gives me everything, the fine detail in the nostrils, the eye. And, I feel if you come from a point of knowledge, then you can create art. And Hemingway, he said exactly that. If you write the truth as you've experienced it, then it can become art. And I'm of the same philosophy, You don't have to follow it 100%. But if you take liberty, you do it from the point of knowledge.
All right, let's go look at these little wax guys in here. This is quite the room. So what do you call these small study pieces? What's the technical name for
the
this?
Technical is maquette.
Maquette.
And it comes from the French. A lot of art terms come from the French. And maquette, it means model, And it's still used today. I mean, you call a model for a monument, you call it a maquette.
Mm-hmm. So you've got a spot right here where this little guy's going on. What's your plan with this piece?
This has actually become a sculpture. This is a maquette, but it actually become a concept on its own. And I'm doing something unique here. What I wanted to do, I want to combine stainless steel and bronze in the same sculpture. Again, like I did with the Omaha thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's ever been done in a little sculpture like this. The reason for using stainless steel, I want to show the white buffalo, which is sacred to the Plains Indian. In fact, they thought it was an attribute to the sun god. So I'm calling this sculpture Gift from the Sun. And here's a baby buffalo just born early spring. And he's white. It's that sacred, rare white buffalo. And he's born to normal parents, So they will be in bronze, and he's going to be in stainless steel.
Well, you've got a real deep passion for the soul part of these animals and why they're here and where they come from. I mean, it's more than just putting on a simple animal on a piece of rock.
It's been my life's passion. I want to celebrate nature with my work, and the outdoors. And I've lived that way all my life. I wanted to be a commercial fisherman. That was my dream. because I love to see. And my grandfather, you know, who went to sea when he was 14, his father before that, for generations, we come from seafaring fishermen. And my grandfather said, no, you're not. You're going to the mainland and you're going to study it, because this way of life is going to end. My grandfather understood the sea, and he was absolutely right. I mean, I hated it at the time, you know, but he was right, because today my fishing village is a ghost town. The fish failed, you know, the overfishing, and it was not by those guys. It was by the big, huge trawlers, mothership, Russian. They scraped the continental shelf clean, you know, and today there's no boats. And all my friends, schoolmates that I grew up with, they are out of business. They lost their boats, they lost their homes. So it's pretty tragic. So I in some ways, I thank my grandfather for forcing me off the island and forcing me to go to school. And then the reason I went to art school, I thank my dad and my mom, because they were artists. My dad was a painter, but also working as a fisherman. And he was a musician as well. And my mom was a textile artist. As kids, you really don't pay much attention to what your parents do, you know? I mean, I never even thought of my mom as anything else but a textile, as a weaver. She had a weaving studio. But what I didn't realize until my mom died, she died young. She was only 61, died of cancer. And I cleaned out her studio, and I found her diaries. And when she got pregnant with me, and until I was 2 years old, she was studying sculpture. And she wrote in there that she took me to her sculpture classes because she couldn't afford a babysitter. And she said she did a little study of my right hand in clay in art school. And I rummaged through all her stuff, and I found it, and I have it. It's my prized possession. It's a fired clay, which is called terracotta, you know, as you know, little study of my hand. So after my mom passed away, I get to say thanks to her for really making me a sculptor. Absolutely, a fellow sculptor. You want to sculpt the buffalo horn?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's about all that's left to do on it. You built from this side, I built from this side. We're going to build this horn here.
So how do you go on? You just don't stick a bunch of balls on there? Is that how it works? Or?
Very special technique. You just slap it on. That's what I do.
I'm sculpting with Kent Ullberg.
What's happening here, we got the burnout oven, and the shells, the glowing hot shells are being taken out and ready for the bronze pour. You can see how the shells are glowing with the heat.
So this is the raw bronze over there?
That's the raw bronze ingot, yeah.
Now, who said there's no gold in them hills? It has just a blasé thing to it with being an artist, you know, that it's not really a lot of work, or you got to get lucky, or, you know, and I think obviously through our talk that, you know, it's extreme hard work and it's dedication and commitment the whole way.
Yeah, it is, like you said, it's a life commitment, it's a passion. And you know, I'll tell you, I would do it even if it was illegal. You know, I'd do it sneakily because I love it so much. And to get paid to do it, to actually make a living with your life's passion, it is incredibly fortunate, you know. when you get to my stage, I mean, I'm going to be 60 this year. You know, it's a lot better. You know, I have a lot of clients, a lot of people that supported my work over the years. So I'm not worrying about day-to-day living, you know, but I'll tell you there was many years where I really worrying about feeding my family. You know, I have 2 boys, and it's frightening. You know, it's not easy to break into the art business. But at this point, I have chosen to do a lot of public ones, big sculptures, and I've done that because the way I grew up, I was used to seeing big sculptures around, and I assumed that's what the sculptor do, monumental commissions. But it is really hard work, and it is limited how long I can keep doing it. And the little ones give me tremendous pleasure. Just to be alone in the studio myself and fiddle around with clay and wax. I mean, that's my image of heaven, you know. A huge room, empty, and no telephones and lots of clay. And days of just fiddling with it, you know, making animals. That's what I love to do.